Good
Gentlemen.
evening.
Good evening.
Did you just assume my gender?
Wow. Segueing into our
Oh.
topic for the day, Captain Marvel.
Speaking of gender and other mistakes,
No, honestly, we're gonna be talking about Captain Marvel today. Both Deadwater and I, or Logan, however you want to be known, on the internet
well, now that you
presence.
said it,
We both went and saw the new Captain Marvel movie
yeah,
this week. I saw it today. Logan saw it last night.
I'm gonna try and not sound too negative about it constantly.
Okay. I had some pretty positive opinions about it. I don't know exactly what you thought, but we'll go into it. I think we saved this conversation specifically for this podcast. So,
Yes, yes, we did.
um, yeah, it's gonna be completely spoilers. Viewer discretion is advised. Um, so yeah,
The cat
Captain
dies in the
Marvel.
end.
That is not true.
Nah, Jake, just kidding, just kidding.
That cat
No
scared the
offense.
shite out of me, though.
My opinion, Cat was the best character in that movie,
Yes. Okay, yes, the
hands
cat.
down.
I loved Samuel L. Jackson's relationship with that cat.
The kitty! And
Okay,
okay, the first scene with the cat is the scene that made me really hate Brie Larson.
why?
Because what kind of, I don't care if you're from another planet, what kind of monster sees a cat and just walks past it without even acknowledging its existence? Like, come on.
Heartless.
Like, Samuel L. Jackson had the appropriate response. Who's a good kitty? And Bree just looked and was like, you're an idiot. Stop doing what you're doing. Come on, we
Fury.
have we have things to do. We have better things to do. Like, monster.
Besides the whole that part, I honestly thought Captain Marvel was a really good movie. I left the theater almost in tears just because of all how reminiscent it was, how much of fan service really they included in this movie.
That
And
was the problem that I had. They packed it full of fan service so that people weren't allowed to give it bad reviews.
I don't know if it was because of
How
that.
how am I supposed to talk crap about a movie that literally shows "Thank you, Stan" at the very beginning of it?
I don't think that was just to get good reviews. They were genuinely, tributing
I mean,
Stan Lee, and I
I I
loved
I I,
that.
I acknowledge that part. I'm glad that they put a tribute towards Stanley. I'm glad that that happened. I think it should have happened on Endgame though. That
Yeah,
100% should have been the opening for Endgame, should have been a
I
tribute to Stan Lee,
I
seeing as
think,
that is what his entire work had led up to.
and who knows, they might, but I think they did it for this one because it was the first MCU movie since Stanley died. I think that's the reason why they included
N
him in
it
this one.
it wasn't though.
MCU movie, not
It
Marvel.
wasn't though.
What was the first one since Stanley died?
Wasn't it what was it? When did
Oh.
I'm trying to remember when Stan Lee died. I'm pretty sure there was something before it though.
The last MCU movie, there was Marvel movies. There was Into the Spider Verse, and there was Venom. But the last MCU movie before Captain Marvel was Ant Man and the Wasp in July, and he did not die in July.
Ah, he didn't die then?
No,
Uh,
I'll look it up real quick.
either way, it I didn't care for the movie. It was not
November
as bad
12th.
as I thought. It was not as bad as I thought it would be. But from a movie standpoint, just like from a Marvel standpoint, all that movie was like maybe 10 to 20 minutes of like fighting, and the rest of it was just useless dialogue about a character I honestly couldn't care less about because 95% of the action sequences were in backflashes.
I will admit that the movie could have included more action, but the action that they did include, Captain Marvel, just the superhero itself, ignore the movie, ignore the politics, ignore the actress. Captain Marvel is a badass superhero, and I loved it. I loved all of
Yes,
her fighting
Captain
scenes.
Marvel is a badass superhero. The problem is they rarely they did not at all focus on the fact that Captain Marvel is badass. They were saying they focused purely on her backstory, which pretty much says, oh, she was empowered from the beginning because no matter how many times men kicked her down, she stood back up like a true woman. Like, okay, that has nothing to do with, like, with her being, like, a superhero. Like, I couldn't care less about that, honestly. Not trying to sound
Mm.
sexist or anything, but, like,
As as
Wonder
far
Woman. Wonder Woman came from a large group of uh, Amazons. Everything about them shouted empowered. But honestly, they didn't try to shove that in your face either.
it's true, I understand where you're coming from. And as
They
far
didn't have
as
catcalling in every 20 minutes of the film.
yeah, one part that I didn't like was the obvious the dude on the motorcycle who was like, "Hey baby, why don't you show me a smile?" or whatever it was. I'm like, okay, that's a little too obvious.
Like, yeah, there are some people like that, but this isn't a Gillette commercial. Not every guy is like that.
Yeah, you're right. Um, but what I was gonna say is, as far as origin stories go, this one felt very rushed as they were trying to push it out and establish her
Yep.
place in the MCU right before Endgame.
Yeah,
Like literally, they had 10 years
very
to come
much
up
so,
with
honestly.
Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel doesn't seem to me so important as they had to wait till the very last minute to even reveal her as a part of the MCU. I felt like if they took their time, I don't know, it could have been better. I, I enjoyed the movie. It was good, and I got reminiscent. The fan service, the fan service may have not done as much for you as it did for me. I loved the fan service in the movie.
I like some of the fan service. Like every now and then when something would pop up on the screen, I'd be like, haha, I remember those. Like
Uh
that's
huh.
that's kind of cool. But at the same time, it felt after like the fifth one, it felt a little bit overused. Like Blockbuster, haha, Blockbuster. Everyone loves Blockbuster. Blockbuster was
Oh, Radio
amazing.
Shack. Oh, look at that.
Oh, Radio Shack, haha, everyone remembers Radio Shack.
Oh, Ronan the Destroyer? What? Ronan the Destroyer.
That part was Marvel. That part I understood. I'm talking about like, haha, 90s nostalgia. People are gonna love this. Not after the fifth thing that you mentioned. It's starting to get a little old. We get it. You're in the 90s. Stop trying to just pure fan service.
And I'm gonna need you to repeat that for me. I disconnected my microphone.
Uh, I understand like the Ronin the Destroyer part, but I mean like, there's only so many times you can mention Blockbuster before I start getting tired about you mentioning Blockbuster.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. But I was really surprised
Like,
when I saw Ronan the Destroyer, though. I wanted to go, yeah, 'cause, like,
yeah, I was shocked about that.
what?
I was shocked about that.
It was obviously a different actor. Um, if you couldn't tell at
Oh
the end.
yeah.
But it left a lot of questions unanswered for me. A lot of like, why is Ronan the Destroyer working with the Kree? Is he a Kree? I think that a lot of it was trying to get the Tesseract, but why were they trying to get the Tesseract? How did the Tesseract end up in Marvel's possession in the first place? Because, as we know, Howard Stark was the one who digged up the Tesseract after Captain America went under the ice.
Yeah.
And then it ends up back in Shield's possession before the first Avengers movie. And I'm like, okay, now what? And you're not gonna have enough time to answer all
Well,
those questions.
I think you can imply that because Stark was a weapon manufacturer, they would work very closely with the U.S. government. And seeing as the secret government-issued project to create a light-speed drive, they would have gone to Tony Stark to ask, or Howard Stark to ask him for supplies, and he'd be like, I have just the thing, and he would have handed them the power source to base it off of.
U.S. government in which Marvel was
Because
undercover and
yeah, Marvel was in the U.S. Air Force, so they could have easily been like, hey, we're trying to get this warp drive. We need help. And he's like, Tesseract.
I got just the thing. An
I got
Infinity
just the thing.
Stone.
These Nazis were trying to do the same thing. Here, take it.
Oh, this will obviously work out well.
This is obviously not going to lead to anything absolutely terrible. Also, I'd like to point out that Captain Marvel at the end of the film pulls a complete Star-Lord.
How so?
The entire first Avengers movie and the entire first Guardian of the Galaxy movie could have ended right there and then if she had destroyed all three ships instead of letting two of them leave.
Right.
She could have killed Ronan the Destroyer right there and then, but she had to play it cool and wave them off like, I destroyed one, I can destroy you too. Bye-bye.
I don't know why she didn't do that because
That was a complete Star-Lord move, and I saw that and I'm like, why?
But if she did that,
Like,
then we wouldn't have Guardians of the
even if
Galaxy
she destroyed
1.
all three and it turned out that Ronan was just like a holograph, I would have been happier with that.
Uh-huh. Or yeah, if he was able to escape by himself or something, you know.
Yeah.
I have to go back and watch
I
Guardians of the Galaxy again because I don't remember Ronan's whole like deal. Like I know, yeah, he's a son of Thanos, but what does he want out of all this? I can't remember. I'd have to go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
I guess he wants the same thing, or as the people thought the Skrull wanted, is like world's domination. I don't know.
Yeah. My problem with the film didn't come from the film, it came with the actress. Like, I walked out, I was satisfied with the movie. The movie could have been slightly better in a lot of ways. Primarily in the like it was kind of boring to watch. Like around the hour mark, I'm like, okay, how much time is oh no. I
Yeah.
got like just the nothing but talking and reminiscing was kind of getting old and boring. But like besides that, it was a pretty good movie. The problem I had is the same problem that I heard every single person who walked by me in the aisles after the movie was over had, where everyone agrees Brie Larson has like no emotions ever.
Yeah, she was pretty monotone facially.
Like she just got memories from her human life back. She's straight-faced and normal the entire time. She never cracks a single tear when anything sad happens. She doesn't go coochie coochie coo when a cat comes near her. She doesn't do anything human-like.
I understand. I get what you mean.
When the whole point of Okay, and here's where the problem stems. The whole point of Captain Marvel is she can't control her emotions. It looks like her emotions are pretty under control. She just has an anger issue.
Yeah. That was also that guy just trying to get in her head. I don't need no
Yeah.
man telling me what to do.
Yeah, that's what that whole part came to.
Yeah.
Is I don't need to prove myself to a man like you.
Yeah. Girl power.
Ugh.
I
I would have been so much more fine if they hadn't chose Brie Larson and they hadn't advertised it as a feminist movie.
If Brie Larson just kept her mouth shut, I would have still been happy with her though, because I mean,
Yeah,
she's
but
hot.
that's where the problem stems. She had to open her mouth, and now everyone hates her.
Yeah. I found myself towards the end of the movie kind of just wanted the movie itself to be over because I was at that point I was more excited for the post-credit scenes.
Yeah, when the cat barfs up the Tesseract.
Yes. Yes.
I saw it with my dad. He went out after the first end credit scene. He walks out and he's like, "Okay, just come out when you're done." And I'm like, "Okay." He waited up there for 5 minutes. He comes back out and he's like, "It's still not done." I'm like, "No, it's still going through the credits." So he sits down. He waits for like 4 more minutes. Finally, the credit comes up and it's just a cat that's just trying to puke. And he's like, "Did you really sit 10 minutes to watch a cat barf?" I'm like, Yes, I did.
Sometimes it's important, sometimes it's not. Um,
I heard
oh,
one person in the theater, and I almost cracked up laughing way too loud when I heard it. When it said Captain Marvel will return in Avengers Endgame, and all I heard was somebody 2 seats behind me go, "Don't threaten me like that."
oh
I,
no.
I almost broke down laughing right there and then.
That's funny. I don't know. I like Captain Marvel as a superhero though. I'm excited for her. I'm excited for Endgame in general. What I did like is seeing Phil Coulson again. He seemed to look
Oh
younger
yeah, that
too.
was
Uh,
yeah, a lot younger.
I don't know if they used the same aging stuff as they did, or de-aging as they did with Samuel Jackson. But I mean, he was looking
You
pretty
mean
good.
add hair?
Basically, that's what happened. I told my dad next to me when they were in the car, him and Coulson or the Skrull, like Coulson, they were chasing the train in the car. I'm like, I'm getting serious Pulp Fiction vibes from them in the car there. uh, what else? Is there anything else to talk about this movie? All in all, I liked it. It was a good movie. Not as bad as I thought. Not as good as it could have been.
Decent movie, terrible actress.
Fair enough. All right, that's our.
Honestly, no, hold up. The main reason to see that movie is for the post-credit scene, and I would wait the 2 weeks just to watch those.
Fair enough. I would.
Like, the movie doesn't offer anything to the MCU, honestly.
Other than, you know, Captain Marvel, who she is, and, why she's
It
going to be
it
in
tells you
Avengers
who she
Endgame.
is, kind of, yeah.
And why she's going to be in Endgame.
It shows how she's going to be in Endgame. I honestly, for the life of me, can't figure out why she's going to be in Endgame.
Because, uh,
I mean,
Fury.
she's made out to be this absolute tank of a character, and she almost got taken out with a guy with a photon sword.
Was that before or after she removed that chip that was restricting her
After she
powers?
removed the chip and she was taking down like the 5 people at once,
Hmm.
there was one point in time where she almost got offed by the one guy who had her pinned down with all the metal up against the wall.
Yeah.
Like she was on the cusp of losing constantly during that battle, and I'm just thinking, if somebody like that, who's then going to spend the next 20 years floating around in space, how is she going to defeat Thanos?
I don't think she's just floating around in space. I think she's
She
fighting her
was
own
she
battles
was
on
rocketing, yeah, she was rocketing through space trying to find the not the Kree, but the
the scroll.
can't remember. Yeah, the scroll, A New Home.
That's not the only thing she was doing though. She was
I thought that
also
was. I thought the whole point was she was trying to pay back the debt by finding him a new planet.
yeah, they're doing that. She was doing that, but also she wanted to go back to the Kree home planet and end the whole shabacle that they had with the tyranny or whatever. Or she where she told the one guy, "I want you to send a message that I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna put an end to all this."
Oh, okay,
So she's probably off doing that as well.
probably. I'm just gonna take your word for that and hope they don't make a second movie explaining it.
They probably will.
God, I hope not.
All in all,
I'm okay with the fact that there was an origin story. I just really hope they don't make a second one unless they recast.
yeah. All in all, I would rate this movie a 6 out of 10.
Fair enough.
It's not as good as it could have been. Not as bad as it almost was, or as we thought it would be. And I thoroughly, I enjoyed it. you know, I didn't absolutely hate sitting in that theater watching that movie. I enjoyed it.
I didn't hate being in there, but there were a decent amount of scenes that just pushed me the wrong way to the point where I'm like, uh, it just wasn't the best. There's
Yeah.
just there were a few scenes that if they hadn't put them in the movie, I would have rated it at least an 8, but because of the couple of scenes, it went down to a 6.
Fair enough. God, I'm tired. Dang.
That cat was cute. Cat was best.
Oh yeah. Goals. I too want a cat that can, um,
Sprout out tentacles
sprout
and
tentacles from its
devour
mouth.
anything.
Yes.
I mean, like, if you're a weeaboo, that's like the dream, isn't it? You get like a Neko and some tentacles. That's like the best.
No. Holy shit. No, dude.
It's the weeaboo dream right there.
Wee. Ooh.
Ooh.
It's so kawaii.
God, no.
Oh, but even if Captain Marvel was not the best, you know, I was still sitting in that theater with my family, getting all reminiscent and emotional, and then it was showing stuff for Endgame, and I'm like, guys, this is it. We're in the Endgame now. That was so emotional.
I mean, unpopular opinion. I'm excited for Endgame, but not as much as I think I should be.
Oh, I'm so pumped. I think
'Cause,
I'm more
like-
excited for Endgame than I am for Star Wars Episode 9.
Like, I liked the old version of Black Widow better than the new version of Black Widow. I never truly cared for Captain America. I care a lot about the Hulk, I care a lot about Iron Man, and then what's his name? Clint.
Hawkeye slash...
Hawkeye, yeah. Hawkeye's like been made out to be such an unimportant character in the MCU. I keep forgetting about him, honestly. So
True.
when I see, because as it is now, it looks like they're about to go up with Thanos with legitimate human beings, and that's all.
Yeah.
Because like the entirety of Guardian of the Galaxies is gone. We're reverting back to the lesser part of Avengers 1.
You're right. And then Captain Marvel.
And then Captain Marvel and Ant-Man. Don't ever forget about Ant-Man.
But Ant-Man is just a human, though.
I'm hoping Ant-Man plays the largest role in that film.
Him with his van and his quantum realm generator in his van. Hey guys, wanna go back in time?
I am 100% praying that Ant-Man has one of the largest parts of that film.
Me too. Me too. I have my own theories about time travel and stuff.
Quantum physics.
Quantum time traveling. You just throw quantum in front of everything and it sounds cool.
Yeah. Quantum hentai. You're right.
Alright. Well, derailing from the whole Marvel talk for just a few minutes. Because I could go on about Marvel forever.
Just don't mention Spider-Man and I'll be pretty content.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever Spider can.
Well, now we gotta talk about the Spider-Verse. The
No.
best thing to ever happen to the MCU.
Let's not get into the Spider-Verse today. I'm too tired for that. But what we can talk
Fine.
about is... Man, I should have had this scripted or something. Whew. I was too busy trying to get my damn computer to work.
Wait, what page are we on now?
I think we're on page 69.
Oh, there it is. The one. Okay, yeah. What page are we on now? I think we're on page 69. Oh, there it is. Reads off a thing. Okay, got it. I think I'm on track now.
Okay, cool. So if you're on track, then what are we gonna talk about?
Um, that sweet anime. Oh, that was personal note. Never mind.
Dick.
And thick anime thigh. I mean, sorry, that was written in the margins. We were. Oh
This one's
no.
profusely.
It's all personal notes. Oh no.
69 pages of all personal notes.
69 pages of pure joy and ecstasy.
Oh. Do you know who Alex Jones is?
The name sounds familiar.
I don't like to put the chemicals in the water that turn the freaking frogs gay.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, he was on the Joe Rogan show and Steven Crowder show actually this last week, and he is a frickin' spitfire,
Freaking.
a frickin' spitfire. This dude goes off on like the wildest tangents. And it just goes like, "I'm sorry, Joe, I was going off again, talking about space
Alright.
aliens." It was,
I'm so sorry.
yeah, I thought that was interesting. I got nothing else to say about that, I guess. All right. Well, I guess if we're done talking about Captain Marvel, I'll just cut off this podcast for tonight.
uh,
Thank you guys for listening. I will catch you all on the flippity flop. Peace out.
Flippity flop.
Peace.